Imagine this. You're in a city you've never been to before, there for a work conference, and you think you've got everything figured out. But then, you step into a hotel room, only to realize you've been booked into a shared room with three complete strangers. What do you do when personal boundaries are tested, and you're stuck with them for the night? In this video, you're going to follow Alex's journey, a reserved and introverted person who is forced into a situation that feels completely out of their control. But it's in these moments of discomfort and surprise that something unexpected happens. Will Alex remain closed off, or will this chaotic, awkward experience lead to something far more profound? By the end of this story, you'll discover what happens when strangers become something more, how a night of tension, awkward conversations, and personal revelations can transform everything. Get ready for an emotional rollercoaster of connection, growth, and unexpected twists. So, if you're curious about how an ordinary hotel room could become a turning point in someone's life, stick around. You're not going to want to miss what happens next. Welcome to our channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another story like this one. As the evening sets in, the awkwardness between the four roommates begins to settle, but it's replaced by something else: curiosity. The hotel room, still a little cramped, now feels more like a space for sharing stories and experiences. Jake, the charismatic traveler, is the first to break the silence. He talks animatedly about his journeys across the world, the freedom he's found in exploring new places, and the strange connections he's made along the way. He's full of energy, effortlessly drawing the others in with his stories, but Alex can't help but feel a little overwhelmed. Jake's confidence is something Alex envies but also feels he'll never have. Liam, on the other hand, is quieter, more introspective. He listens to Jake but doesn't feel the need to dominate the conversation. Instead, he shares his passion for art, explaining how his paintings reflect his perception of the world: subtle, often complex, but deeply personal. There's something soothing about his presence, and Alex finds himself drawn to the calm way Liam speaks, as if everything has its place and time. Noah, the tech-savvy entrepreneur, is the last to speak up. He's focused on his phone at first, typing away as if there's no one else in the room. But when the conversation turns to business, he puts the phone down and joins in. He talks about his startup, the challenges of balancing work with personal life, and the constant pressure to succeed. His words are sharp and direct, but underneath, Alex can sense the vulnerability, the fear of failure that every entrepreneur faces. Alex listens, feeling both connected and isolated at the same time. Everyone else seems so comfortable with who they are, with what they're doing, and where they're going. Alex, however, is unsure. The conversation takes a turn, and for the first time that evening, Alex finds himself sharing something real. He talks about the struggles he's faced with his identity, how he's spent most of his life hiding parts of himself, afraid of how others might see him. There's a tremble in his voice as he admits to things he's never told anyone before. The room falls silent for a moment. It's a vulnerable moment, one that makes Alex want to shrink back into himself, but it doesn't happen. Instead, Jake, Liam, and Noah all listen, offering quiet nods of understanding. There's no judgment, just a strange sense of connection. In that moment, Alex realizes that despite their differences, they are all in some way navigating their own struggles. The feeling of being trapped with strangers begins to fade, replaced by the warmth of shared humanity. Even if they're not close friends yet, they're becoming something more, something real. As the night wears on, the conversation flows more easily. Laughter fills the room, and for the first time, Alex feels a sense of belonging. It's a small step, but it's a step forward. And though the evening is far from over, there's a quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, this unexpected situation could lead to something important. By the time the night winds down, the tension has been replaced with something else, a deeper understanding. The hotel room, which once felt like a trap, is now a space where four people, strangers just hours ago, have begun to connect in ways they never expected. And as Alex turns off the light to sleep, he wonders what tomorrow will bring, knowing that nothing is ever quite as simple as it seems. The room is silent, save for the hum of the air conditioner and the occasional shuffle of sheets as everyone settles in for the night. But then, just as Alex is about to drift off to sleep, the lights flicker and go out, plunging the room into darkness. A few muffled exclamations follow, Jake, Liam, and Noah all react in varying degrees of surprise, but no one seems panicked. It's just a power outage, a temporary inconvenience. Instead of retreating to their individual corners, the four of them sit up, the absence of light somehow making them all feel more connected. In the darkness, the room feels smaller, but also more intimate. Jake, ever the optimist, is the first to break the silence. "Well, looks like we've got a chance to tell some real stories now," he says with a chuckle, trying to ease the tension. "Who needs lights when we've got each other?" Noah laughs softly, but it's clear his mind is still on his phone. After a few moments, he gives up and places it face down on the small table. Okay, you win. Let's do this. Anyone got something wild to share?" Liam's voice cuts through the darkness, calm as always. "How about we keep it simple for once? What's one thing about each of you that no one would ever guess? Something you've never told anyone before." Alex is quiet at first. The idea of sharing something so personal, especially in this strange setting, feels intimidating. But there's something about the power outage, the way it has momentarily stripped away the usual distractions, that makes Alex reconsider. Maybe this is the perfect moment to open up. Jake speaks first, his tone light but sincere. "All right, here's something you wouldn't guess about me. I'm terrified of flying. I know, it's weird considering how much I travel, but every time I board a plane, my heart races like I'm going to crash." It's a surprising revelation, especially for someone so confident and outgoing. Jake's vulnerability creates an opening, and one by one, the others begin to share too. Liam talks about his struggle to make a name for himself as an artist, how he often feels like an outsider in a world that values commercial success over creativity. Noah shares a story of being dismissed by people who didn't believe in his startup, and how he's had to fight for every inch of success. Then it's Alex's turn. He hesitates, unsure of how much to reveal. The darkness feels both like a shield and a spotlight. He feels exposed, yet oddly safe, knowing the others can't see his face. "I guess, something you wouldn't know about me is that I'm still figuring out who I really am. It's like I've spent my whole life pretending to be someone I'm not, and every time I try to take a step toward the real me, I get scared. I don't know how to stop hiding." The words spill out before Alex can stop them, and for a moment, the room is silent. The vulnerability in Alex's voice hangs in the air, thick and raw. But then, to Alex's surprise, there's no judgment. No awkward silence. Instead, Noah speaks up first, his voice soft and understanding. "I think everyone's hiding something, Alex. It's not easy to put yourself out there. But it's better to be who you really are, even if it takes time to figure it out." Liam adds, "We've all been there. You just have to trust yourself more." The words don't solve everything for Alex, but they offer something important, a sense of understanding, a feeling of not being alone in this struggle. The more they talk, the more Alex begins to feel like this night, this strange experience, is exactly what he needed. The fear, the anxiety, maybe they're not as overwhelming as they seemed before. Maybe there's a way to start letting go of the past and stepping into something new. As the conversation continues, laughter fills the room again, but this time, it's different. It's lighter, more genuine. The weight of their shared stories creates a bond, one that wasn't there when the night began. The power might still be out, but it no longer feels like a setback. It feels like an opportunity, a chance to explore, to learn, and to grow. By the time the lights flicker back on, the dynamic in the room has shifted. The tension from earlier has disappeared, replaced by a deeper connection. The awkwardness has been replaced with something that feels more real, more grounded. Alex feels different, lighter, somehow, like a part of him that was once hidden is finally starting to come into the light. As the conversation winds down, and everyone starts to settle in for sleep, Alex thinks back on the night. It's strange how quickly things have changed. What started as an uncomfortable and unplanned situation has turned into something more meaningful. And even though the night is far from over, Alex feels a sense of peace, knowing that maybe, just maybe, this unexpected encounter will lead to something bigger than any of them could have imagined. The morning light filters through the curtains, casting soft beams across the small hotel room. It's a quiet, almost peaceful start to the day, but there's an energy in the air that wasn't there the night before. The power is back on, and with it comes a sense of normalcy, but also the weight of what was shared. As Alex stirs from sleep, he feels an odd sense of connection to the others, something that wasn't there before. It's still early, but the conversations of the previous night linger, filling the space with a quiet warmth. No one says much at first, but the breakfast table brings with it a new sense of ease. The room still feels cramped, yet somehow more comfortable. They take turns serving themselves from the box of cereal and the coffee they've made in the room's small machine. The awkwardness from yesterday is gone, replaced with a tentative camaraderie. As they eat, the conversation picks up naturally. Jake, ever the talker, starts off, asking everyone what their plans are for the day. So, are we all just gonna head off to our respective conferences, or is someone up for doing something else? Maybe see the city. Explore a little. Liam looks up, his eyes thoughtful. I think I'll be staying here for a bit. I've got some sketches I want to finish up. He pauses for a moment before adding, but I'm not opposed to taking a break. Maybe later. Noah, who's been scrolling through his phone, finally looks up. I've got some work to catch up on, but I'm down to explore afterward. If anyone else is, we could grab some lunch, or something. Alex, who has mostly been quiet while listening to the others, finally feels the need to join in. He's still a little unsure about the day ahead, but the thought of staying in the hotel room, alone with his thoughts, doesn't feel as appealing as it did the day before. I'm up for exploring, he says, his voice quieter than he intends, but the words are out there, and he's not looking back. I'm not in any rush. Just seeing the city sounds good. The others smile, and that simple exchange feels like a small victory to Alex. It's easy to overlook moments like these, but for him, it's a sign of something changing, of him opening up just a little bit more. They finish breakfast and quickly prepare to leave, the energy in the room shifting once again, but this time, it's in a direction Alex hadn't expected. The day ahead holds promise, not just for the city they're about to explore, but for the friendships that are slowly being built in this small hotel room. The connections that once felt like random happenstance are now starting to feel like something more, and Alex can't shake the sense that something important is unfolding. They step outside, into the cool morning air. The city feels alive with possibility, bustling with energy and movement. It's a sharp contrast to the quiet, enclosed space of the hotel room, but in some ways, it feels just as intimate. As they walk through the streets, the four of them continue to share stories, small, personal things that help them understand each other better. Jake talks about a recent trip to South America, showing off pictures from his travels. Liam, usually reserved, opens up about his favorite spots in the city where he finds inspiration for his artwork. Noah jokes about the ridiculous things he's had to do for his startup, and Alex laughs, for the first time feeling like he's part of the group, not just an observer. The city feels like a new beginning. For the first time, Alex isn't just wandering through the streets with a sense of isolation. He's walking side by side with people who understand him, who are willing to listen, and who, in their own ways, are also figuring out their own lives. The connection they're forming isn't about grand gestures or deep philosophical conversations, it's about the small, quiet moments. The shared experiences that, over time, will add up to something meaningful. As the day continues, the group explores, eats together, and enjoys the simple act of being out in the world, together. Alex feels a sense of belonging he hasn't felt in a long time. It's as though the walls he's built around himself, both physically and emotionally, are starting to crumble, piece by piece. By the time the sun begins to set, they've walked through the city's busiest streets, found hidden parks, and laughed more than Alex thought was possible in a single day. They're no longer just four strangers in a hotel room. They're becoming something more, friends, companions, maybe even something deeper. And as the day ends, Alex can't help but reflect on how far he's come in such a short time. Just 24 hours ago, he felt trapped by the circumstances, unsure of how to navigate the strange situation. But now, he feels something different. There's a sense of freedom, of openness, and perhaps even the beginning of a new chapter in his life. As the group heads back to the hotel room, Alex feels a little lighter, a little more himself. Whatever happens tomorrow, he knows that tonight, at least, he's not alone. The evening brings with it a calm that settles over the group like a gentle blanket. After a long day of exploring the city, they return to the hotel room, each carrying their own thoughts and experiences from the day. The air feels less heavy now, and the space, though still small, no longer feels suffocating. There's a warmth between the four of them that wasn't there before, a sense of ease in the way they move around one another, almost as if they've known each other far longer than just a few days. As they unpack their bags and relax, Jake flops down on one of the beds, his eyes still sparkling with energy. What a day, huh? We should do this every time we travel. Maybe not always with strangers, but it'd be great to have days like this. His voice carries a lightness to it, but there's something more there, an unspoken appreciation for the connection that has been formed. Liam, who had been sitting quietly by the window, turns around and nods thoughtfully. Yeah, I didn't think I'd enjoy it this much. I didn't think we'd click like this. He looks down at his hands for a moment, his fingers fidgeting with a pen. It's nice, I guess. To just be, without any expectations. Noah, who has been silently observing the conversation, finally speaks up. I agree. This wasn't what I thought it would be, but I'm glad we did it. It's rare, meeting people who just get it, you know. Alex watches the three of them, the words they share landing deep in his chest. He hadn't expected to feel this much in such a short amount of time. There was a part of him that, in the beginning, resisted opening up, resisted letting these people into his life, afraid of what they might see. But now, sitting in this small hotel room, he realizes just how much they've helped him break down the walls he's spent years building. Yeah, Alex says softly, his voice carrying a note of surprise. I didn't think I'd feel so comfortable, so connected. I thought it was just going to be a random few days, you know, nothing more than just a place to stay. He pauses for a moment, the realization hitting him hard. But it's different. I'm different now. The room falls quiet for a moment, and for the first time, there's no pressure to fill the silence with words. Instead, they simply sit with it. The understanding that has bloomed between them doesn't need to be spoken aloud anymore. The fact that they're all here, together, in this moment, speaks volumes. Then, as if to break the stillness, Jake grins and grabs the TV remote, flicking it on. All right, enough of the deep talk. Let's watch something. Anyone up for a movie? We've earned it. The suggestion is met with laughter, and soon, they're all sprawled out across the beds and chairs, the movie playing in the background while they chat idly, slipping into easy conversation. The tension that once gripped Alex has all but melted away. He feels like he's finally found his place, not just in the hotel room, but in the company of these three strangers who have become something more than that. They're his companions now, people who've shared something real with him, who have made him feel like he's not so alone in the world. The movie plays on, but Alex isn't really watching it. Instead, he's looking around at the faces of the people who, over the course of these past few days, have become a part of his life in ways he hadn't anticipated. There's Jake, full of energy and enthusiasm, always ready to break the silence with a story or a joke. There's Liam, reserved and thoughtful, but with a depth to him that Alex now feels he understands better. And there's Noah, sharp and focused, but with an underlying kindness that reveals itself when he's not busy with his tech world. For the first time in a long time, Alex feels truly connected to people. Not because they're perfect, not because they fit any ideal of what friends should be, but because they've all opened up to each other in a way that feels real and raw. They've shared their vulnerabilities, their doubts, and their dreams. And in doing so, they've given each other something irreplaceable, a sense of belonging. As the evening draws on and the laughter continues to echo in the room, Alex realizes that he's no longer just passing through life as an observer. He's part of something now. The walls he's spent so long building up have been torn down, brick by brick, through simple moments of connection. And though he's still unsure of what the future holds, one thing is certain, he's not facing it alone. As the movie ends and the night begins to settle, they all start preparing for bed, exchanging good-natured jokes and making plans for tomorrow. There's no sense of hurry, no rush to leave the room or escape the moment. Instead, they linger, enjoying the calm and the company of each other. Alex can't help but feel a quiet sense of hope, knowing that this unexpected journey with these three strangers has become something far more significant than he ever could have imagined. And as he settles into bed that night, Alex falls asleep with a sense of peace, knowing that in the days to come, there will be more moments of connection, more opportunities to let go of the past, and more chances to truly be himself. The following morning comes far too quickly. The hotel room is quieter than usual, the silence almost surreal after the whirlwind of the past few days. The city outside is waking up, the streets bustling with life, but inside, everything feels still. For a moment, Alex considers staying in bed, hiding from the reality of the day ahead. But he knows that isn't the way forward anymore. He slowly sits up in bed, looking around the room. The others are already awake, moving around in their own quiet way. Jake is rummaging through his suitcase, Liam is staring out the window, and Noah is already typing away at his laptop, probably working on something for his business. The energy in the room is calm, but there's an unspoken understanding between them. They've all been through something together, and now, it feels like they're in sync, moving as one in the shared space. "Good morning," Alex says, his voice carrying a softness he didn't expect. He smiles as he stretches, shaking off the lingering heaviness from the night before. Jake looks up from his bag, a grin spreading across his face. "Morning, man. You slept well?" he asks, his tone light but genuine. "Yeah, surprisingly well," Alex replies, surprised by how at ease he feels. "I was expecting to feel awkward. But it's different now." Liam turns from the window, offering a small, thoughtful smile. "We've all settled in, I think. It's been a good few days." Noah, still focused on his laptop but with a quick glance up, adds, "Time went by fast. Feels like we've been here longer, doesn't it?" It's true. The past few days have been a blur of connection, laughter, and small moments of shared vulnerability. Alex realizes just how much has changed. He's no longer the quiet observer, standing on the sidelines of his own life. He's actively participating, engaging, and, for the first time in a long time, he feels like he's truly present. The group spends the morning preparing for their last day together. Each of them has their own plans, some work-related, some personal. But they decide, as they have every day, to share lunch together. The idea of splitting up and going their separate ways feels unsettling, and for Alex, it's a bittersweet realization that this chapter is coming to an end. But as they head out for lunch, Alex finds himself filled with a sense of peace, not sadness. There's no rush to make grand statements about how much they've changed each other's lives, but there's an understanding between them that this experience has been significant. It wasn't about what they did, but how they did it, together. Over lunch, the conversations are light, but there's an underlying depth to them. They talk about everything and nothing, where they plan to go next, what they're looking forward to, and even some of the personal lessons they've learned over the past few days. Jake, always the one to keep the mood light, laughs and says, "Well, I've definitely learned that you can't judge a book by its cover. I mean, who knew we'd all get along this well, right?" His laughter is contagious, and the others join in, each of them nodding in agreement. Liam adds, "I think I've learned to take things one step at a time. Not everything has to be so planned out, you know. Sometimes you just have to let things happen." Noah, more reserved, gives a small nod. "I think I've learned that it's okay to slow down. I've always been running from one thing to the next, but I'm realizing now that there's more value in the moments between things than I thought." Alex listens to them, absorbing their words. He realizes that in the space of just a few days, he's learned more about himself than he ever expected. He doesn't have all the answers, but for the first time, he feels comfortable in the uncertainty. He feels ready to take on the next step in his life, whatever it may be. As the meal winds down, they all stand up, slowly gathering their things. There's a brief moment of awkwardness as they all realize that this is it. The end of their time together. But it's not sad, not like Alex feared it might be. Instead, it's filled with a sense of quiet appreciation. Jake, as always, breaks the silence first. "Well, it's been a hell of a ride. Who knows when we'll see each other again, but this was unexpected, in a good way." Liam chuckles softly. "Yeah, I'm not sure any of us expected this. But I'm glad it happened." Noah looks at each of them, his expression soft. "I'll miss this. The simplicity of it. But I think we've all got something to carry with us, from here." Alex nods, the words catching in his throat. "Yeah, me too," he says, his voice steady but filled with sincerity. "I didn't think I'd feel this way when we first met. But, this was something important. Something I'll remember." They all exchange smiles, no longer strangers, but friends. And even though their time together is coming to an end, Alex knows this experience will stay with him, guiding him in ways he can't yet fully understand. As they step outside, each going their separate ways, Alex takes one last look at the hotel. It's strange how something so small, so temporary, can leave such a lasting mark. But it has. The walls he once hid behind are now gone, replaced with a sense of freedom, a sense of self he didn't know he had. And as Alex walks away, heading toward the next chapter of his life, he knows one thing for sure: he's no longer trapped. He's free.